Hello guys, today we're going to do section 3.1, adding fractions with the same denominator. So take a second and write down this title here to keep your notes nice and organized, and then we'll get started. Okay, quick little review. Alright, just to talk about some math terms. First of all, this of course is a fraction, but does anybody remember what the top number is called? Take a second. The top number is called the numerator. Okay, and the bottom number is called the denominator. So make sure you just note that in your mind. No need to write it down, but just remember, top is numerator, bottom is denominator. And the reason I'm showing you this is because we will be talking about the numerator and denominator in this lesson. I will be using these terms. Okay, so let's get started. I want you to make this note here, and then we'll talk about it. Okay, so rule number 1. When adding fractions, we must first have a common denominator. Okay, so denominator again is the number on the bottom. Alright, if we look here, we have common denominator of 9 and 9. So these fractions are ready to be added. Okay, and we're going to add them in a second. First, I just want you to make this note. Okay, so here's just a common mistake. We have 9 as a denominator here and 7 as a denominator. We cannot add them yet, okay? So they're not ready to be added. They must have a common denominator first to be added. Okay? So I want you just to follow along. Alright, tell me. Answer this in your own mind. Can you add these fractions? Okay? And the answer is yes, you can. Because we have a 5 in the denominator here and a 5 in the denominator here. Good. Can we add these fractions? No, these aren't ready to be added yet because we have a 6 and a 2 here in our denominators. We only look at our denominators now, so not ready to be added yet. What about here? Yes, we have 3 and 3 on the bottom in our denominator, so they're ready to be added. Okay? Alright, so write this down. Rule number 2. Now we're going to get into actually adding them. So rule number 2, when adding fractions, we add the numerators together. So we add the top, and we keep the denominators the same. Okay, so we keep the denominators, and we're going to see that now. Okay, so just pause until you have this rule written down, and then write down the example, then we're going to do it together. Okay, so add the numerators, add the top, and keep the denominators. So the way we do that, this equals, we just look at the top numbers first. 4 plus 1 is 5. Okay, and we keep the denominator. This is why we have the same denominator. So we just have the 9 on the bottom, so we just bring over our 9. And that's it. So add the tops, or the numerators, and you just bring the denominator over. Okay, no need to write this down outside here, but this is a common mistake I'm going to show you. A common mistake is that students add the top, and then they go ahead and they add the bottom. So 9 plus 9 is 18. That is not how we add fractions. No. Okay, so that's just a common mistake. Make sure you don't do that. You need to keep the denominators. Okay, pause if you have any questions. Ask a friend or an older student or myself if I'm available. If not, let's get into some examples. Okay, so we're going to do these together. I want you to write these down with me. So 1 over 5 plus 3 over 5. Write that down. Pause if you need to. Okay, so that equals, what's our rule? We add our tops. 1 plus 3 is 4. And we keep our bottom. We bring over our same denominator of 5. What about this one? Is this ready to add? Yes, because we have the common denominators on the bottom, same denominator, 7 and 7. So, add our tops. 1 plus 4 is 5. And we keep our denominator. What about this one? Is this one ready to add? Yes, we have 3's on the bottom, common denominators. So 1 plus 2 is 3. We keep our denominator here. We just bring it over. Whoops. And it's 3 over 3. This can be answered. Okay, that's the correct answer, or you can simplify that. Anything over itself. So 3 divided by 3 is just 1 whole. Okay, pause if you have any questions. Ask a buddy, ask an older student, or ask myself if I'm available. If not, let's move on. Okay, I want you to pause the video now, and I want you to give these a try. Okay, when you come back, we'll answer them together. Okay, so by now you should have these answered, so quickly we'll go through it. Okay, we have these are ready to add because we have the same denominator on the bottom, 4 and 4. Okay, so we add our numerators, add our tops. 2 plus 1 is 3. And we just keep the bottom. And our bottom was 4, so we just bring over our 4. Okay, this one, is this ready to add? Yes, we have our same denominators here. I always check that first. So we just add our top. 1 plus 4 is 5. And we keep our denominator on the bottom. Just bring over our 8. Okay, and this one, are these ready to add? Common denominator, yes. So add our tops. 1 plus 4 is 5. Keep our denominator, bring it over. It's 5, so 5 over 5, or that can be answered more simply as just 1, because 5 divided by 5 is 1. Anything over itself is always 1. Okay? If you got these all right, that's great. You're ready to move on. If not, I really want you to pause and make sure you ask me for help, because you need to know this before we move on. Okay, so let's just put some images to this addition. Okay, so here we have, and no need to write this out or draw it out, just follow along. Okay, so here we have 1 over 5 plus 2 over 5. So I actually put a picture here to help you visualize that and just see it. So 1 over 5, so we have one shaded area out of 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here we have 2 over 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if we add those together, okay, we got this piece. I'm going to move this shaded piece up here and see what we have. So here's our 2 pieces. This one is just copied over. And then we're going to add this piece onto it. So just shade it in. Okay, so what would we have when this is shaded in? Okay, we have 1, 2, 3 shaded pieces out of a total of 5. So we have 3 out of 5. And we're just going to look there. If we follow our rules, that is correct, right? Because we add our top. 1 plus 2 is 3. And we keep our bottom. So we bring over our 5. And that is actually what we got. 3 shaded pieces out of 5 if we put the 2 of these together. Okay, so let's try another one like that. Let's just see. Okay. The green marker. Now we have 1 shaded piece out of 6. And then we have 5 shaded pieces out of 6. So we're going to add those together now. So I've just copied over this one. And we're going to add this 1 shaded piece into the top. So we're just going to shade this in. So we shade this piece in here. We actually have how many pieces shaded? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have 6 pieces shaded out of 6 possible pieces. Okay, check our rules. Add our top. 1 plus 5 is 6. Keep our denominators. 6. So this is the answer. And you could write this simply. Okay, we got 6 pieces out of 6, or 1 whole piece, 1 whole pie. So this can also be written as 1, which is is also correct. And that makes sense because 6 divided by 6 is 1. Okay, now rule number 3. And we're almost done now. Rule number 3, I want you to pause and write this down. Okay, by now you should have this written down. So rule number 3, once you have added the fractions, always check and see if you can simplify the answer. And this is why we practice simplifying so much before we got started on this chapter. Okay, so here, are these ready to add? And make sure you write this down, guys. We're going to work this out together. Are these ready to add? Yes, we have common denominators, 9 and 9. So we use our rules. At our top, add our numerator. So 4 plus 2 is 6. And we keep our denominator. So we just bring over our 9. Okay, but this can actually be written a lot more simply. It can be simplified. So I'm just going to use different color ink here. I'm going to come down here and do my rough work. Okay, so to simplify, remember we have to find the factors of the top and bottom and find the greatest common factor. So 6, our factors of 6 are 1 times 6 or 2 times 3. Okay, and now let's find the factors of the denominator. So 9, that's 1 times 9, or 3 times 3. Okay, so what's common there? 1 is common. Okay, 6. Nope, we don't have a 6. 2. Nope, we don't have a 2 over here, but we do have a 3 here and a 3 here. Okay, so we have common factors of 1 and 3. 3 is our biggest. So we're going to come up here and divide our top by that greatest common factor and divide our bottom by that greatest common factor. And that's going to equal, so 6 divided by 3 is 2. And 9 divided by 3 is 3. So this is our answer simplified. So this would be accepted as a better answer than this, because this can be written more simply. Okay, pause the video if you have any questions. If not, let's move on. We're going to do some examples together. Alright, so let's give these a try. Okay, so make sure you write down this, and then we're going to work it out. So, 3 over 10 plus, or added to 3 over 10. Are they ready to add? Yes, we have the same denominator on the bottom. Okay, so we follow our rules. At our top, 3 plus 3 is 6. Keep our bottom. So 10 is our common denominator, so we just bring it over. Okay, and then we simplify. Okay, so what's our factors of 6? I'm going to come over here and write it above. Write it over here. Okay, so 6. 6 is 1 times 6, or 2 times 3. Okay, what about 10? 10 is 1 times 10. That's our factors. Or 2 times 5. So then we look, what do we have common here? We have 1s and we have 2s. So 2 is our greatest common factor, so we're going to divide our top by 2. I'm just going to change my marker. So divide by 2 and divide our bottom by 2. So what does that give us? 6 divided by 2 is 3, and 10 divided by 2 is 5. So this is our simplified answer. Okay, I want you to give this one a try now. Okay, so we are ready to add. We have the same denominator. Okay, so we follow our rules. Top plus top, 1 plus 3 is 4. And then we keep our denominators. So 8 on the bottom. Okay, so you can look at this and find our factors. So 4 is going to be 1 times 4, or 2 times 2. And 8 is going to be 1 times 8, or 2 times 4. So we have 2's common here, and we have 4's common here. Okay, but 4 is our greatest common factor, our largest common factor. So we're going to divide our top by 4. No need to write this in, but I just write it in just so you can see what we're doing. Okay, so 4 divided by 4 is 1. 8 divided by 4 is 2. Okay, so that's our final answer there, simplified. Okay, this one here, they're ready to add. We have a common denominator. Use our rules. Add our top. 2 plus 3 is 5. Keep the bottom. Keep our denominator, so we just bring our 5 over. 5 over 5, that can easily be simplified because that equals 1. Anything over itself, 5 over 5, equals 1. Okay? If you have any questions, pause the video, come find me, or ask a friend or an older student. If not, we're ready to move on and try our own. Okay, so just pause the video, try the 3 of these, and when we come back, we'll quickly go over them together. Okay, so by now you should have these attempted. Let's see if you got them correct. They're ready to add, this one here, because we have the common denominator. So we just add our top. 1 plus 1 is 2. And 4, then we keep our denominators here. So we bring over our 4. Okay, that can be simplified. You could have done the factors out, but a lot of people can just look at this, and eventually with some practice you will be too. You can look at this and see that that is also equal to a half. Alright, and correct as we go. Alright, this one, we have the same denominator, so we're ready to add. 5 plus 4 is 9. Keep our denominator, so our denominator was 12. Okay, I'm just going to quickly come over here and do the factors. 9 got 1 times 9, or 3 times 3. 12 is 1 times 12. 2 times 6, or 3 by 3. Okay, so we see that a common factor here, we have 3's and we have 3 on the bottom, so we're going to divide by 3. And that's going to give us 9 divided by 3 is 3 on the top, and 12 divided by 3 is 4 on the bottom. So this is the most simplified answer. Okay, this one, ready to add, because we have common denominators. So top plus top, 1 plus 4 is 5. 15 plus 15, then we keep our denominators. So keep our denominator 15. Okay, I can look at this one and I can see 5 goes into 5, and 5 also goes into 15, so I'm going to skip this step of writing out my factors. So 5 divided by 5, and 15 divided by 5. So 5 divided by 5 is 1, and 15 divided by 5 is 3. Okay, so if you got all those right, you're ready to move on. If not, make sure you find me because you need to know this before we move on to the practice work. So the last thing for today is we're going to add with pictures, with fractions again, just to visualize it. So we see here we have a quarter, 1 over 4, plus 1 over 4. So these are shaded in here. We've just added this piece onto here. And then we get 2 pieces shaded out of 4. And just follow our rules and see if that makes sense. So we have a common denominator. So we go top plus top is 2. And we just keep our denominator here of 4. Good. Well, we can also see that this can be simplified. Correct? This is equal to 2. You can say 2 divided by 2 equals 1. And 4 divided by 2 equals a half. So if we were to look at that, we see that that's correct because the shaded area is the same. Okay, so that's just a little visual representation of how you simplify. Okay, so that's all for today, guys. Here's your work. Okay, so textbook page 180. I want you to do 4A, 5, and 6. That's the practice work to go through that lesson. So good luck with that. Let me know if you have any questions.